everyone. Thank you for tuning in again to another episode. We have two special guests with us, NU and Bijou. Thank y'all for.
Hey ladies, thank y'all for coming through.
You're welcome.
And before we get started, please go subscribe, like, share with everybody, your friends, your mom, anybody you know, somebody on the street. Please share the podcast, this episode. And let's get right to it.
All right, ladies. So thank y'all for coming through. Like we said, you guys are our first female guests. So we appreciate y'all for agreeing to come through.
Shout out to us
Shout
ladies,
out to NU and
the
Bijou.
queens.
Appreciate y'all.
Thanks for
So
having
go ahead
us.
and tell us about yourself. I mean, I've met you before, obviously, but Bijou, NU, we both have y'all here.
You
Tell us a little bit about both of y'all.
Business longer.
What y'all do, what y'all got going on, you know.
Okay, well, hello. My name is Sadia, also known as Bijou. Big Bijou, not the little. It's like just playing, but so I am 30 years old. I have been in business since 2014. I am an ethnobotanist. I have a bachelor's of science in ethnobotany, which is the scientific study of the interrelations between plants and humans, and minors in bio and forestry. I've also had natural hair since I was 15, and around 2014 I started my own hair and skincare line and graduated 2015, and I've been working for myself because corporate was not for the girl since 2017. So
Okay, nice.
yeah.
Before you go, I want to ask you, what made you make that decision? Like, did you have a bad experience in the corporate world, or?
Actually, no.
Okay.
The same experience that I kind of had in school. Like, I'm a big geek, so it wasn't challenging enough. Like,
Gotcha.
I would finish my work. I was on contracts. I was a staffer. Finish my work, and I'd just be sitting there like,
What's next?
yeah. And I have ADHD, so I'm really active. So sitting at a desk is just not it. I got into IT sales. That's how I was a staffer, and I was an account executive. That was cool, but that got me really into corporate life.
Gotcha.
Corporate. And that's what made me really want to start growing my business. So I am on my first, I own and built my salon right now. I have 2 employees.
Nice.
And I'm trying to franchise out in the next, upcoming years.
Amen.
Something.
That's what's
And
up.
Will.
Inshallah, that's it.
Yeah.
What about you, Nu?
Hey everyone, my name is NU James. I go by Liz. I'm a photographer and brand strategist. I'm 27 years old, from the DMV area. Pretty much, I chose photography, I want to say in 2018. I've always had a passion for media, content, helping other creatives. So that's how I got into brand strategy. I just always had a passion for it. I used to work for a media company. I was always at events. I enjoyed networking. So I just paid attention to what I actually liked about those events and what I liked and understood about people. And I just was like, how do I add value to people? So that's how I picked up photography and brand strategy.
That's what's up. And you guys are both full-time entrepreneurs.
Yes, sir.
That's hard.
365, 24/7.
Okay.
That's hard. But you know what's
Don't
so
quit
funny?
your job.
Facts. Do not do that. Don't do it.
But I've said this before. I was like, as an entrepreneur, it's funny because, like, when you work for somebody, you know, you got to wake up, clock in, do your work, clock out. But as an entrepreneur, you working from the time you wake up to the time you close your eyes. So how do y'all that's what I'm saying. Like, how do y'all manage?
Honestly, for me, I just have a yes mentality. I just be like, it gotta get done. Who else gonna do it? And more so, it's just like, not that I don't like authority. I enjoy authority. I don't mind it. But it's just like certain rules just never apply to me directly. It always had to be adjusted. I always had to shift my mindset. Be like, how about we try this? I always had to negotiate, use my sales skills, and just, be strategic about how I was gonna go about my day because I was always biting off more than I could chew. So that's why, for real.
Okay. Well, from what you just said, just like to piggyback on that, when it comes to biting off more than you can chew, that's the biggest, biggest hurdle I feel like any entrepreneur faces, even with me. I like to, not to say I accept a lot of projects, but I will put a lot of hats on and be like, Dad, why does my head hurt in a day? So learning to kind of break down goals, I feel like looking at goals and visualizing your goals is very important as an entrepreneur, because once you see what your end goal is, you can have these little milestone checkpoints of goals that if you achieve those 5 days out the 7-day week, by Friday, you're going to be like, Dad, it was a great week, and you clock out for yourself.
That's
Right.
I feel like that's the easiest way to do it, the hardest problem, and the easiest way. That's like what you need to do. The problem is a whole bunch of things that have to be done. The biggest way is to break it down, organize it, and don't put too much on yourself. The companies that we work for, they've been around for decades, for centuries, for explorers, whatever. And all their work is consistently moving. So if you have the mindset of you are a brand, an entity that's going to be consistently moving, your goal is longevity, don't overwork yourself, because that would be the quickest way to burn out and be like, let me go get a job real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
It gets hard, especially in the beauty industry. It can go 1 week, 1 month, you're slammed. And then next month it's a little quiet, you know?
Yeah.
So also being financially aware of your situation and being realistic.
Right.
Realistic reality.
I feel like that's a problem, like with a lot of people like that try to jump into entrepreneurship. Like they think like, I mean, it sounds good. Like, you know, you wake up, you get to make your own schedule, you do what you want to do when you want to do it. But at the end of the day, being an entrepreneur is still a job.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's not just like you're not working, like you're working for yourself.
Matter of fact, you're actually wearing multiple hats. You're admin, you're HR, you're the business manager, you're all that, the accountant, the
I'm
sponsor.
not a full-time entrepreneur, but I mean, I do have my own business. But even like me, I'm not even full-time, and I'm like, yo, bruh, like
It's a lot.
If he's spanking you.
it's a lot. Yeah, real live. Yeah.
Scrambling for invoices. Like.
You like, so this deposit. Are you serious?
So I have a multi-part question. So what is, as young black women entrepreneurs, what is the biggest, well, it kind of ties into a little bit what you said. What is the biggest obstacle y'all face as young black entrepreneurs? How did y'all recognize that? And what did y'all do to overcome that obstacle?
I think you need to take that first.
I like that one.
That's a great question.
So, and I love this, because this was like, that's what made me be like, getting through that,
right.
Like, that's what made me be like, this is what I want to do. So, as I told you before, my background is in botany. I make hair and skincare for men and women since 2014. I've done over 100 and some events in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, right?
Wow.
Whenever I first started, do you know how scared I was with my little table, with my little jars and stuff like? Like, I got locks, I got tattoos, like I am educated, but I do not, that's not who I am. You know what I mean? I'm very much myself.
Right.
So having people come up in old and young alike from all backgrounds, be like, what you know? You don't know what this is, and I have to be like consistently, well, I'm the second black woman in this country with my bachelor's of science. Like, having to, like that right there, people not taking you seriously as a woman, as an educated woman, as a woman that actually, like, I wouldn't be here if I didn't know. So that's a very, very big thing. But the way that I combated that, had to boss up on them. I had to make sure that I knew all of my ingredients. I could rattle it off. I had an elevator pitch. I broke down. I made my milestones and my checkpoints to make sure that I had price points that made sense. I could package things together. I made sure that I had branding together. Like, it was a lot, but I feel like putting your best foot forward and understanding that you do wear all of the hats, so therefore it's not 100%. You got to give 700% for the seven hats that you wear, and that's not gauged by anybody but you, because
that was
you're
a bar.
Boss.
Okay.
That was a bar.
It's not gauged by any. That was.
Mixtape coming soon.
Let me repeat it. Okay.
Respect.
Yeah, for sure.
Respect that.
Damn.
I'm happy you asked me that, because
That is
I
a
tell
valid.
people like bet on
It's not easy.
It's not. But if you bet on yourself, it's no way. Bet on yourself and pray, like always. That's all I go by. Yeah.
Dang. Okay, so the biggest obstacle, I would have to say pretty much what you said, like piggyback, just being valued, like just understanding what you bring to the table, knowing your worth, thinking about it, and honestly just standing on that and having people take you seriously, taking yourself seriously first, and just having a yes mentality every single day. I feel like that's literally the difference between like you BSing all day and you actually putting your best foot forward and solving problems. So, and that way you can in turn solve other people's problems, and then you get paid for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like if you think about it, a business is just a product or a service. This is like, okay, well, how can you make somebody's life is easier by making it smoother, better, or faster? Like that's literally it. And if you figure that out and figure out the streamlining it from start to finish, it's pretty much there for you to do daily.
Yeah.
Streamlining, that's a great word. Understanding the start and understanding the finish. like knowing that you have to get to a finish with a project. No, there's no forever ending project, but knowing that you have to be innovative enough to create the next step.
Right.
Like that's a challenge, but I feel like that's very freeing. Wouldn't you say that? Like,
Yeah.
boom, okay. Personal life. We just locked down something very major for her business today. That
Yes.
we both. I've been helping her brainstorm with
Lit,
this.
congrats.
Thank you. Because he knows. He knows. I be going through it. He knows.
Oh my gosh. But understanding, like, once you get there, celebrate that. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's a big thing.
Oh,
That's
I
gonna
did.
make your life easier, but then also getting ready for the next chapter and understanding, like, it's chapters in the book. Like, your book's not done, so.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing too. Like people underestimate the power of mentors, teachers, business friends. Like this lady right here, like I brought her for a reason because. Matter of fact, I met her at one of her events. I met her there, not realizing like we would be this close now. And it's just like where I was then compared to where I am now, I'll probably say she's responsible for a good, I want to say 75%. 75%. 75%.
That's honest. That's
No,
what's
like
up.
real,
That's
like
what's
real,
up. She giving you your flowers.
So
That's what's
essentially, I love you.
That's what's up. That's what's
mad about the
up.
pictures no
I'm glad she brought you. That's what's up.
But yes, like it even took like I just remember one random day she told me like just stop being pussy. Like excuse my language, but
You
like,
gotta say it like
stop
that,
being
man.
pussy.
Like, real.
That's my favorite bar for everybody.
Yeah, like and I was just like, and I didn't realize like that's a trigger for me being challenged. Like pussy, who? Like that's not even my that's not even in my DNA. Like what? And I was just like, well, how stop being pussy? And then just starting, you know what I mean? It just unlocks all these new doors of like, dang, I don't have this, let me work on this, let me work on that.
Right.
And then also just being the same person that you are online, offline does wonders for you because essentially that's your brand. Like do what you say you're gonna do, show up for yourself, and then it'll come. It'll come. Just be consistent.
Yeah, it's
it'll
just a matter of time and consistency, like you said.
I also had something to add on to that, though. I'm sorry, but I definitely feel like what you said about being consistent in how you present yourself is super important to make sure that what you're doing, the service or the good that you're providing, aligns with who you are as an individual as well. Like
Right.
you can't set yourself up to be in a more compromising situation if you're trying to excel. You have to set yourself up to grow. So therefore, if you're not battling like against which your beliefs, your value, or whatever your lifestyle with the good and service, it's easy for you to be consistent through presentation, and people see that. Like when I say people see that, people see that. People see consistency, people see dedication, and they bang with it. So as long as everything aligns, and you have to do the work, you got to be real with yourself. Like I could tell her about that because I had to look at myself in the mirror and be like, "Oh, you scary! Like, you are scary. Do you want this or no?"
No
Like,
facts. No
yeah.
facts.
So what would you guys say was the biggest challenge in growing to that level?
Figuring out what it
Adjusting.
is.
Adjusting because it's like that's why I like love entrepreneurship because it makes me or becoming a better photographer or just be a better entrepreneur in general because it's like it forces you to get your life in order, wake up on time, be timely, understand you can't be in certain places at a certain time. Oh, once it hit this time, I gotta go. Y'all chilling, but I can't. Oh, I gotta get this turned into my client by this time. You know what I mean? Like just doing what you said you were gonna do. And it's just like you have to understand by being an entrepreneur, you're not like everybody else. You're not the conventional person. You do have to, live a different lifestyle and be okay with that. Take pride in that. It's not always gonna be fun all the time. You'd be like, dang, you have to turn up like, hold on, wait, I gotta climb the more. Hold on, wait. But it's just like you're gonna be happy that you went to bed on time and you're energized and you was there to collect your money. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like just choosing, making better decisions because it's just like, why would you waste your time? Why would you set yourself up to suffer later? And then it also helps you establish boundaries. So I've been experiencing that a lot lately, like just certain things I cannot put up with, certain people I'm not willing to put up with because it's just like if you are really my friend and you really understand the kind of person I'm trying to become, you would not be bringing that nonsense around me or my energy. You just should know better. You should just know better to keep that nonsense away. Like, and I feel like we're not even friends if you can't respect that.
Yep, no,
That's just what it
100%.
is.
100%.
So when it comes to like you guys and your entrepreneurship, what would you say like when it gets to those low days, what do you find to be like your motivation to keep it pushing when it gets like real low?
I take a look at myself. I always try to put the finger at myself and be like, what can I do better? What am I not doing? And I have to make that talk an honest one. And then two, I turn to God. I be like, God, go to my steps, please. And then I just be like, you know, okay, then I come back to reality. Or maybe I just need to learn something. Like I try to cut on YouTube and be like, okay, maybe I just need to learn something. Maybe I look for motivation when there's no motivation, discipline carry you through. And I just know it has to get done. So it's just like, I could do it right now, or I could be it'll get done tomorrow person. But I know being that kind of person is not conducive to the person I'm trying to be tomorrow. So it's just like, gotta choose your battles wisely.
That's what's up. I love the discipline you guys have. And like, it seems like you guys had that friendship where y'all can hold each other accountable and nobody gonna take it. You know, like you're not my mom. You know what I mean? So you know what I'm saying?
We
so,
be doing that for friends too. We be like, that's not your friend.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you on that. I agree with that. Like that's not your friend if like you know I'm trying to do this, but you're watching me fuck up and you ain't saying nothing. So yeah, I like that y'all hold each other accountable.
That's not even a thing. She already knows whenever, because we did meet like years before we actually really became
cool.
Started building this bond that we had.
Yeah.
And that was like one of my favorite events that I did too. That's crazy.
I was there as photographer. She was vending.
Yeah, I was vending. I was
doing,
I did like a live demonstration of one of my products on a model, and damn, we gotta do that again.
I'm interested in learning more about what you do. Of course, I browsed your page a little bit when she sent it to me, but you know what I'm saying. So
just get ready for this summer.
Yeah, she been turned up.
It's about to get crazy, but I do need to get back to that. Prayer is my biggest thing. Like I feel like with business, you can't do anything unless your internal, your mental, your soul is right. You know, and that's usually where blocks kind of have hit me in the past. If I try to onboard somebody and I'm focused like just on the coin of it and not the end goal,
right?
I see that there's hiccups that come up. You know what I mean? Understanding that everything does happen for a reason and focusing on that, focusing on what's in your control. Like, do I need to back up? Do I need to just sit and meditate? Or do I need to lean in? Do I need to fine tune any skills? Or add any, like for me, like adding new services and stuff like that to my list. It's a thing, but also I feel like it's a very big thing for entrepreneurs to learn to trust themselves and not trust the wave. I've been in business since 2014, and me not trusting the wave has kept me growing. I've seen so many businesses and brands fizzle out, and I was there whenever we all started. I've taken steps back. I've lost a parent. I've had changes in life that made me take steps back, but still been consistent on the front of my salon that I have. So I just feel like, yeah, like things are gonna go back and forth, but you do need to just always make sure that you have a clear vision, perspective of what's going on, and keep your mental health right. Fellas, therapy.
No, therapy is key.
Like your mental health is processing clearly is so important because with your business, everybody knows we make emotional decisions and stuff sometimes. Your business is your livelihood, so take the emotion out of it, figure out your stuff, and then
move up a fact.
We need to be thinking big. You need to be thinking big, bitch. You need to be thinking big, bitch. Think big, bitch.
Staying steadfast. Definitely. 10 toes. Stay 10 toes.
Number one, sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
And number two, it's funny you mentioned the therapy thing and mental health, because I was having this conversation earlier with a couple of my friends, and we were talking about like how, you know, in the black community, we don't really take mental health seriously. Like, you know, especially Africans. Like, we're quick to call somebody crazy instead of, like, trying to figure out, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Africans, bro, like, this person is a mad person. This person is crazy. But it's like, okay, well,
whole
what's
time
wrong
they
with them?
traumatized.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, people face different things, different challenges, and everybody processes things differently. So, it's funny because I actually inquired with a therapist. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anything's wrong with me, but nobody that has something wrong with them thinks something is wrong with them.
Exactly.
So I was like, I inquired and we'll see how it goes.
I feel like you don't have to wait until something is wrong with you. I feel like
to do therapy,
exactly. I feel like it's more of a coping mechanism to check. Like it's just a mental check-in, like to make sure, like
it's just like going for a checkup with your PCP, your primary care provider. So.
Exactly, but for your mind, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And even making sure you're processing stuff. Like she said, she just lost a parent, but it's like. The way her work ethic is, like, not saying I forgot, but it's just like she just goes so hard every day and she shows up for herself. It's just like, if I was an outsider and not your friend, I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell. I wouldn't know.
But you got to persevere.
Perseverance and resilience are my favorite words ever. Perseverance and resilience. If you don't know those words, y'all need to go Google them and y'all should. It's really sad if y'all don't know those
Nah,
words.
for real.
At your big age, if you don't.
No, but we lack that a lot in this generation, especially perseverance. Like everybody just ready to tap out after the first, you know.
Sign of struggle, like.
But the struggle is when it gets
Really, that's what makes
Exactly.
you. Yeah, like that's what
that's when
makes
get
you.
the best.
Exactly.
What Frederick
That shit
Douglass
builds
say? Without
character,
struggle,
man.
there is no progress. Yeah.
We need to do that, and we need to bring back shame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all need to be
Please.
ashamed
Oh,
of
I'm with her
not.
on that one.
Yeah, no, bro. There's so many things that a lot of people need to be ashamed of, but be ashamed of yourself by
Yeah.
not like reaching the standard that you set for yourself.
Yeah.
Like as an entrepreneur, you're your own boss, so ain't nobody gonna penalize you. You gotta penalize yourself.
Facts.
You
That-
have to. If
that
I wake up
discipline.
late,
That discipline.
like, before I hired my employees, if I woke up late, I was crying the whole way to work. I was like, I just can't believe it, I'm a failure. Like, and now it just like she was like, you need to get help. I'm like, no, I don't need it. I can do it by myself. But it's just, you know, you got to persevere through the hard times because it's always a rainbow after the storm. Always.
Yeah,
I
for
guarantee.
sure.
But that's where a business mentor comes in handy because I have a business mentor and I was able to communicate to her like, hey, like that sounds like, you know, your clientele is growing, you need help. And I feel like a lot of business owners don't know. They think of their business as, oh, small mom and pop brick and mortar that you're never going to expand. But it's just like realistically for your business to continue functioning as you need it to, you know what I mean? More automated, more there, more ready, customer service ready for your clientele, you know, that way so they could be satisfied. You do need to hire help so that you have that convenience, so you can have a peace of mind on your way to work where you go serve your clients.
Right,
And I just be so happy, like, because I'm also her client as well. Lost by Bijou. But yeah, I'm happy for her because I know that she's no longer stressing. You know what I mean? Like, I know that her mental's now okay because her clients are getting taken care of. And it's just like her employees are happy because now they have a new source of income as well. It's like everyone is happy. The clients are happy. They peep the teamwork. And it's just like, it doesn't always have to be one person being a one-man machine because realistically, your one person can't do everything.
Yeah.
Can't do everything.
And
It's impossible.
That kind of like contradicts itself if you are trying to grow as a business and not just hustle, you know?
Start structuring, stop hustling.
Yeah.
Right. And I just want to say I really respect and it's really attractive what y'all saying because there is that fine line of like you're self-employed and nothing happens unless you're working, but then y'all are really showing the true blossom of entrepreneurship where y'all are creating something into with even if y'all not there, it's still y'all name is still there.
Right.
You know, y'all still relevant, y'all still running, you know, and I love that.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate that for sure.
Yeah, you know.
I think why that is because we both have strong whys. Like we both are passionate. We both love what we do. We both know that this is our option. This is our plan ABC. Like we know that it's just a purpose on the other side for real.
Right.
So that's just what keeps her and I going from what I can say.
We've made our lives make sense.
Yes,
Before.
that's
I
very
said,
important.
Aligning yourself, it's definitely, like last year we definitely would have been able to probably have the same conversation, but not with as much poise as we are now. Literally just
It's a part of the
last year.
learning process.
But
It's
no,
all
literally
good.
just last year.
Literally.
Though. Like that's how quick entrepreneurship. Like if you lock in, like you see them tweets or the posts like 6 months and you'll change your life. Like no, give yourself 6 weeks. Give yourself
Okay.
6 days. You might really
Man.
like
Right.
Lock
really
in.
put
You gotta
yourself-
lock in, yeah.
Yeah, like locking in is something.
This
and
is so motivational.
Thank you.
But it really is something. Like y'all don't understand. We'll be on the phone for like 4 hours and we'll be just talking about this. We'll both like literally one of the hours is quiet for a laptop post doing this. Oh, another client just hit me up. Well, you should do this. Asking each other. Like really, it is important to make sure that your environment, your life, it aligns with what you're trying to do in the future. Like I know. And you had said something, right? And it made me think about like, what do you do about like, the next step? And that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to touch on. We're entrepreneurs. We don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like in 10 years. I can't tell you. I'm figuring it out. Like, that's the thing about it. You just have to bet on yourself and have faith and know what you've done, carry that on, and just build it. You know?
Right.
I think it's also what you I think it's also what you said as well. I feel like it has to align. That way you can diversify your income. So that way, even as you diversify your income, it's not too far-fetched out your lane. You're doing what you love, but in different realms. And it's like people still understand that value. They still have that need because you created that. You created that lane for that. And it's just something out there for everyone. Sometimes you just got to put it out there. You never know.
Right.
So.
Can't be scared.
Yeah.
Don't
Can't be pussy like she said
meow.
earlier.
Yeah, I was like, don't, can't.
But I was gonna ask you, what university did you graduate from?
Frostburg State University.
Frostburg.
Oh, I didn't even
Okay.
state my education. Hold on, wait. The illustrious Morgan State University. You know what I'm saying? I graduated from the School of Communications, Global Journalism and Communications. You know what I'm saying? I studied public relations, advertising, and media sales. I also got my master's in HR, Human Resources Project and Project Management from the illustrious, the first HBCU in Maryland. Blue State University.
HBCU.
That's my sister.
Hey,
I'm
man.
from WI, sorry.
Heavy on the education.
Academics. That's why we went there.
Right.
So we're credible, you know what I'm saying? We're not just out here slapping stuff on the business card. You know, we're educated young women.
You don't
Right.
need to have a degree and them loans
Right.
to be credible, though.
You don't.
Do your
You
due
do not.
diligence.
You do not. You
If you don't
don't.
know how to do it
As a master degree holder, you don't need it. You could
all
get.
within-
Google is your friend.
I'm
It's
telling
all
you to go
within.
get your
It's all
certificate from
within.
YouTube University. Okay.
You was about to say something?
Yeah, so one of the questions that I have is, I know you said you're a photographer, right?
Yes.
Yes, and you said you're doing hair and you have a salon now. So I wanted to ask, what actually got you into doing photography and what made you decide to do hair? I remember you saying you've been natural since 2000.
Oh, I cut
Since she
off-
was 15.
I cut off all
she
of
was
my
like-
hair in my African household and twisted my hair, and I got in trouble. Was put on lockdown.
That's cause you stole the opportunity for your mom. You know, African
Yeah.
moms be threatening to cut your
I
hair.
asked for locks for 3 years from like
Wow.
12.
I didn't ask.
And you just wasn't getting your request, so you took it upon yourself.
I was a little rebel. I had really good grades. I've always been a smart rebel.
Same,
So I had really good
same.
grades. Skipped school one day, listened to NDRE, I Am Not My Hair, and cut off all my daggone hair. Yeah.
They got this song now, actually. I got a daughter, and I play this song for my daughter a lot. It's called The Hair Song by, you guys ever heard of Gracie's Corner?
Yes.
Yeah. You ever heard the hair song?
I haven't heard.
Yo,
I haven't heard the
listen to the
hair
hair
song.
song. Like, that song is,
It's
she's
like
too young
that.
to understand it, but
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this is a very, like,
Good song.
good song.
I've heard good things
A little
about
black
Grace.
girl should listen to this song.
Yeah.
Even my son, too, because my son's locked.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
He
And he be
is.
singing it to her.
Have you heard of A Key in Me?
I haven't.
Look it up. It's a South African educational cartoon on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm gonna check that joint out.
That's
Yeah,
that
I'm gonna check that joint out. But yeah, the hair song.
You said, how did I get started in photography? That is a great question. Okay, so this goes back to like grade school for real. I was on a morning announcements randomly, like they called me to like do the question of the day, and I was just like, I like this setup. Like I just was so geeked and passionate. And then in the 6th grade, I got really, really cool with the librarian because one, I could skip school and then also learn about cameras and media. So I liked that. Then in high school, I was the director of the morning announcements. Took that on, so I had that responsibility young, so I was really pressed about that. I had big executive producer dreams, still have them, but trying to think. Fast forward to the pandemic. Well, no, I'm lying. After college, undergrad specifically, I worked for an entertainment company. I interned with them as their social media manager. I was their intern. So when we would go to events, I was the videographer and photographer. Nice. So they just threw me in. And then during the pandemic, as everything slowed down, that's when I got introduced to my mentor by my mom. And also I picked up studio photography. Found out what a strobe light was and was in love. Like I was just like, hold on, this decisive up my pictures. Hold on, wait. Like I just got really, really excited, and I felt like a little kid. I felt like a child. Like I just got this little tiny joy for real, and I don't know. I just was always happy. And here we are with Liz Winters. So
That's what's up.
I think
yeah,
that's important for every entrepreneur to have that like childlike curiosity and just be ready to like dive full force into something and figure all of it out. If you don't have that hunger for whatever industry it is you're in, it's like, how are you really gonna excel or even like bring innovative new perspectives or techniques to whatever it is that you're presenting or doing?
Because like when you think about it, if you really just into something like just for the money per se, you quickly lose like that drive as soon as the money starts slowing down.
Right.
Because as soon as like there was a time where people would say like the housing market was like beautiful for people coming in there, they could sell cars, make a quick flip. As soon as the pandemic came around, oh, that killed a lot of people's vibes.
Right.
I
I don't want to be an agent no more.
Yeah, I still see people on Instagram trying to promote their stuff, and it's like, you haven't sold a house in 2 years, bro. So it quickly kills like their buzz for it. But if you actually like care for it and that passion is truly there, the money will eventually come. Eventually, but as long as you care for it, like it doesn't even the money.
Definitely.
My nigga brought the root beer.
It's root beer.
It's
Gummy
open.
bears.
Oh.
Is it root beer?
No,
It's open.
it's Coca-Cola because I was
Don't never
really...
send this nigga to get snacks.
At least it's halal.
Crying.
Come on, bro.
Hey, you still talking about that though? That was one time.
Yeah,
That was one time.
he gonna
This
shade me.
one's so good.
He gonna shade me forever for that. I didn't buy the plant-based gummy bears.
Well, you know, you should...
Back to what we were talking about, the passion, Khalifa. You said you disagreed with.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly disagree with why. He's 100% wrong. And I will stand by that. I'll go to the grave
Said he's standing
with that statement.
Can you elaborate?
Okay.
Goodness.
So,
Percent wrong, right? 100.
Yes,
That's a big
100%.
number, Khalifa.
See what we talking about? Yeah, a-hole. He didn't have to destroy him like that. Go ahead.
Destroy him like that.
Go ahead.
so it's good to be passionate about something, right? But you have to have the money to do something you're passionate about.
Implementation.
So if you do something that makes you a lot of money, you can still have the passion to do what you want to do. Like I know a lot of people that work on Wall Street, complete assholes, but they like what they're doing because they're getting a ton of money.
Is that what they really want to do though? That's the question.
Yes.
See,
Are they doing it because they're passionate about it?
Or they
Are they
doing
doing
it
it because
passionate about the
exactly?
money.
I'm about to say they're passionate about being rich.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. I can't even argue that.
Their goal is just to become rich. Okay, that's fine. If I want to be a freaking cook, right? All I want to cook is goddamn hot dogs, right? I can be a passionate hot dog chef.
You can.
I'm about to say...
I'm about to say, no, there's a business. No, but there's a real business. Wait, y'all, wait.
We got neighbors.
Wait.
We got
Lizzie was the first thing that came to your mind. Hey, yo.
Wait.
Blizzy was the first thing that came to your mind. Out of all foods.
Wait, in all fairness, there is a actually black-owned vegan hot dog business. You know what I'm saying? Yes.
It is.
And they are not mainstream.
Yes.
You don't have
It's this famous TikToker.
Yes. The trainer.
Yeah.
How are we defining like wealth right now? Are we defining it just enough for me, or are we talking about we got Bill Gates right now?
I mean, that's perspective. That's like per each person.
Okay,
Yeah.
if I'm talking about if I got enough that I can just pay my bills, I can still go to 3 or 4 trips out of the country a year. I think that's perfect.
Slap your
But if
glizzies.
you could do that selling vegan glizzies, I think you're
But I'll tell you this. I work in tech, but I might not be passionate about tech.
Right.
But tech is what's going to give me the bag to do what I'm passionate about.
Okay.
So like he's saying, you could have the passion, but that money comes first when, as far as like you want to be able to basically let your 9 to 5 fund your passion.
Okay, that's fine. I'm perfectly down for that statement. I think even the twins, when we had them on, they said the same thing.
Yeah.
But even with that, I'm not disagreeing with that at all. But I'm talking about when you want to do that passion, it should just be for that passion. Not that passion can lead. That passion should lead you into money, but you shouldn't just go into that passion and like just no.
Thinking about the money.
Right. So you could be able to
Because if you go
persevere and
in,
everything.
my mindset, if you go in there and you go into like a realm that you don't really care about, but you heard it makes a lot of money, you don't really care about that area. You just care about the money.
It goes back to what you said about the real estate thing.
Yeah,
like,
if you-
are you
if you-
passionate about putting people in homes?
Or are you passionate about
the
getting
money?
that commission?
Now,
Exactly.
you get the money, that's perfectly fine. You're passionate about the money. But if you're not making that money, you're miserable. And no one wants to be around that.
Real estate has a high turnover rate because of that.
That's
So
true.
that's the only thing I'm saying. So you can have your.
It depends how you look at it then. Like, both of you guys aren't wrong.
I'm saying you can
Yeah.
have your Wall Street job.
Two things can be true.
He's straight to the
He's
point.
wrong.
Okay.
Straight shooter.
Such an ass, bro.
But no, I feel like that you have a very big point where it's like what doesn't matter, and you brought up a very big question, a great question for entrepreneurship. What does wealth look like? Like, so that is another way that you can kind of formulate your goals and like that end point for you when you're ready to retire or step away or do whatever. Like that's very, very important to be able to actualize. Kind of lost my train of thought. Greatly, but no.
Nah, I definitely agree with what y'all saying. I think that two things can be true at the same time. I feel like, yes, you do need to be passionate about whatever it is that you're doing or have a why, so that way you're being purposeful daily. And I also believe, yes, passion don't always pay the bills if you're not doing what you need to do daily, or you don't understand what those KPIs are in order for you to make what it is that you're trying to make. And I feel like the more concrete you are about that number, you know, you can increment, like create like small goals, and then you can work your way towards that and then slowly build your clientele. So it's
My
like,
biggest example is look at LA. Look at how many passionate people are there.
hi,
Look at
New York.
city of dreams.
Right.
that place like LA, New York, or even like Florida. Do you not understand the areas that those people go in? The majority of people that don't make it in those areas to begin with in the first place. Actor, what's the actor turnaround? How many actors actually we know anyway?
You asking the wrong nigga.
I know some extras.
I know,
Okay, actors.
I know some stunt doubles.
But then again, that also goes around to one of my questions I asked before. Like, what does that wealth look like? Some of them might be happy just being the third string extra. Some person might be happy being punched by Jackie Chan every episode.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Everybody would be happy at different points.
Yeah, some people just fine with
Hopefully that season makes
It's
it
like
to
what you're
100
content with.
episodes.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's essentially disposable or replaceable. So it's like, I feel like, especially where our world is headed to right now, it's time to hone in on special skills. Like, even if you are looking for a job right now, the jobs that are like really, really hiring, I don't know if you noticed, they're more so like skill based. Like, oh, are you, can you speak sign language? Do you know Spanish? Do you know this?
Are you multilingual? Yeah.
So it's like, it's becoming very like value based.
Right.
So it's like, what value are you all bringing? I feel like if more people knew their values, they would know their role. If you know your role, you know how to act, you know how to behave, you know how to navigate yourself, and
Right.
then you can prosper. But if not, then it's like, well, I like to see where you are in the next 3 years.
I definitely agree with that. Like 100%. I also, I don't know why I keep using my brain, but I also feel like if you know your value, like you're supposed to know your value, and your value is going to be different. But you shouldn't be. You need to be okay with whatever value you place on yourself. We need to get out of, as entrepreneurs. That's what I was getting to. As entrepreneurs, we need to get out of kind of gauging what is our wealth and projecting that into the world, because that could discourage the next person from really going forth with what they want to do, thinking, well, it doesn't look like this, that, and the third, so am I doing it wrong?
Right.
Because just like I said, she don't know what next month's gonna look like for her. I don't know what next month's gonna look like for me. Like, well, I kind of do, but like still.
Right.
But you set yourself up to get to that point at some point. You know what I mean? So as long as you're walking in that path and taking the necessary steps, you'll find it. You just can't lose your hunger, which is why having a why is so important.
Yeah.
That is very important, having a why. Yeah.
Stop right here.
Something
Stop right
like
here.
that.
Stop. What was your question?
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so Khalifa, what would you say to the person who decides they want to follow the money but they didn't make it?
Didn't work hard enough.
Damn.
He was dead serious.
You just need to stop.
They didn't work hard enough.
Yo.
Men say they're not putting their best foot forward.
No, for real.
Yeah.
Because they didn't.
So
Step your cookies up.
with who y'all are today, what is, I guess, a moment, or it could be a thing or something you did in your childhood or in your upbringing that shaped you to be the women that you are today?
Sheesh, that is a great question.
Planting tomatoes and cucumbers with my daddy definitely got me into botany. Got me into plants, liking to be outside. Being celebrated and like encouraged to learn has kept me like always have like a curious like mindset about the world. So I feel like my folks definitely instilled that in me, and those are things that I frequently think about and I'm grateful for, qualities that I'm grateful for that were instilled in me. So yeah, those are two things I definitely attributed to.
Those are important memories too. For me, I would say, all right, so I'm not an only child, but I grew up by myself. And I used to watch a lot of TV. Like, that's just what used to keep me up. And I would like really like stare into the credits. Like, and I would always see like certain people's name all the time. Executive producer, executive. And I'm just like, who the hell is they? Like, why they so important? Why they name on the screen at the end? Like,
Right.
and I'm like, as I got older, I was just like, executive producer. I'm like, dang, they must be like the big boss. Like, they must really be like the ones who like make those decisions. I got really obsessed with like talk show hosts. Watched Oprah from very young. Obsessed with Tyra. Obsessed with Wendy Williams, Rachel Ray. Like I just was very obsessed with people who had a story to tell, and even the way they would like entertain their guests and step into their world and really like ask those right questions to get the answers that they wanted. And even like I would find myself watching interviews at home, and I'd be like, no, because they better not forget to ask this, because what was up with that? And I would just be very like, and just feeling like I'm supposed to be on set essentially. So that would be, yeah, still. And that's another thing, like even right now I shoot BTS photography for Tequila Talks, which is another podcast, and Henny Tea with Dara. So like, yeah, that's my guy. And Ike, and Jazz, and Dara.
Everybody gets a
The whole
shout.
list.
The whole team gets
Y'all
shouted
got
out.
a shout out.
Because they go press me, but actually, honestly, just working with them constantly, like, even like I was actually, my clients were on the show at the time, and that's how I got involved with that team, because the director of the production, I was calling him, I was like, so at what point are you going to shut this down, get this thing started? Who's going to say quiet on set? Who's going to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Why is this chaos going on my set? And I didn't realize I said that, and I was like, let me calm down. on somebody's set. But whole time I didn't even realize that aggressiveness, that determinedness, that observant, like just using my special skills and communicating. That's how I was able to make that my new family essentially, because they valued that, they know they needed that, and it was just like finally someone to take charge and like make sure we're on business,
stuff in
on
order,
professional, and things are making sense, and just preparing ahead of time, knowing, just adding my value, also creating areas of opportunity for them, because I understand the value of their platform and how far they can go.
Right.
Yeah.
And one more time, you already said what it is you study.
Ethnobotany.
Ethnobotany.
Okay.
Can you explain that for us?
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
I love ethnobotany because I always like plants and stuff growing up, like I told y'all about my dad and gardening with him. So ethnobotany, ethno is human and botany is plants, and ethnobotany is the scientific study of the interrelations between plants and humans. So I studied it specifically on multifaceted, multi-level type of perspective from that perspective, and because it's a multidisciplinary science that highlights how agriculture and aromatherapy, homeopathy, naturopathy, everything dealing with plants has been worked into human life, from medicine to economics to literally just shamanism, like working with wellness, with your spirit, your soul. So finding out, I guess, like economic ways to make that like a viable industry to delve into, especially as a Black first generation American woman, it was a lot, but it's so layered that you can find uses from it from any culture, any side of the world, and I like to still study stuff today.
I want to ask you 2 questions. Do you use medicine? Like, do you believe in medicine?
Oh, yes, I'm not an idiot.
I love that.
Yeah, I go to the doctor. I get physicals.
Right.
Like I don't know why I wouldn't. Like I'm not anybody that is like a natural person thinking that they're gonna do a surgery on you has lost their mind. Please stop self-medicating. Go to a doctor, get a diagnosis, and then use your natural medicines in tandem with contemporary medication. Yeah.
So even if you have a headache, do you prefer to
I mean, if I have a headache, for me personally, because I do kind of have I eat alkaline for the most part, but I will take my allergy medicine. It's gonna take a lot for me to take 800 ibuprofen.
Right.
Or like that.
I think that's
I'm not just.
That's how I am. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I don't like taking I don't like taking medicine.
Yeah.
Right.
If there's another way to heal, even if it takes longer, I'm cool with that.
Well, we're African, right? So ethnobotany, the human base, I fell into it whenever, I fell in love with it really whenever I was like, damn, what do you mean onions and pepper and garlic?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
It's like, what do you mean that these help with your respiratory health? Your I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Then I was like, hey, my mom, I'm sick. She makes pepper soup. It all made sense. It's like there's always gonna be things, because if you look at the scientific elements, like the elemental table, right? You'll sit there and you'll look at it and be like, damn, everything that we need for our bodies, these are the elements that everything is made of, and that's what the food is made of, that's what our bodies are made of. So in order, when you lose something, get your food and replenish it. So there's no way that you can't heal yourself, but like, if it's your head, maybe go take some medicine. You know what I mean? Like, you know what
I love what you just said, because for me, I've lost family members trying to self-medicate when they should have went and got the proper
diagnosis.
Because I do understand, like, yes, you don't want to, be and I'm not advocating for you to be taking medicine all the time and be on medicine, but there are conditions out there where, as much as I hate to say it, self-medicating is not going to treat it.
It's not going to work quick enough either. You don't have to go to work.
Exactly.
This is not Little House on the Prairie.
Right. And I've lost family members for that. So it's like,
My condolences.
For real. Because that's sad to know that, like, they're trying to help themselves. It's not that they don't want to help themselves.
Right.
But it's in all actuality, our lifestyles are completely different from everything that we're millennials, cool. We can read up about stuff that happened, but we do not live in that environment.
Right.
Like, there's way more toxins. We're on the tail end, quote unquote, of a pandemic. Like, a whole new sickness just came about. So just understanding that, I think, is very, very important. I love all the, like, naturopathy and the homeopathy. Those are like different types of medicine that I see, but I always get worried when I'm like, how much do you know? Like, I've seen some girls that get obsessed with certain herbs and they don't even know, they've never had kids, but they're obsessed with an abortive herb. Like, you know what I mean? Something that can cause them to go into early labor. Or like some people not understanding that they do need to understand what vitamins or minerals are in a certain plant, because what if you're allergic to something? So anybody that has allergies to a medicine, make sure you do your due diligence, find out what it is, what active chemical in that medicine or ingredient in that medicine, so you stay away from any natural stuff from it. So, like, people would be, I'll get into a whole rant, but just I was about to start.
I was learning.
Everything.
I was gonna ask you also, like, I just have to ask. It's been itching. Are you vegetarian? Are you plant-based or anything like that?
I'm halal, but I eat meat. I definitely eat beef. Lamb.
I'm not a huge red meat eater, but lamb chops, yo. I had some torch lamb chops and I was like, damn, this shit ain't bad.
Lamb chops is
Lamb chops go
not
crazy.
that honey jerk stuff, the real stuff.
Yeah.
Not that honey jerk stuff.
Go crazy. But to shift the conversation a little bit, I wanted to ask y'all, because you guys are two young African women, I wanted to ask you, like, growing up in an African household, were your parents strict?
Yeah.
Like, strict.
How was your upbringing? Like, growing up in the African
I know, right? I didn't see that.
I mean, like,
household.
Right. I kind of like her.
Look at the hands, too.
It's like, but like my parents, my dad, he was a professor. My mom, they've been here since the 70s and the 80s. So they're like, not necessarily, they're not like the textbook, like, Africans are really, really harsh. But like, I couldn't watch TV on school days and I didn't have a problem with that. I loved reading, so it was like that. But do
you think them not letting you watch TV made you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
People's vocabulary is extremely minuscule. It's actually
it's very
I was talking to people like, huh? What is that? I said corroborate in a random sentence and somebody said T word and I was like, oh my God. Corroborate. That's 4 syllables. But that definitely did. It changed. It changed. Being growing up as an African, I feel like y'all even know this. You have more patience with the world. You have more understanding. You kind of the anxiety that is thrust upon you from all the stress and the pressure kind of gets you ready to over excel all the time. So yeah, you know what? It was extra, but it definitely helped. It definitely helped.
We had this conversation like with another guest on our show. We were like,
with
Ike. In an African, with Ike. Yeah. But we had this conversation with Ike, and we're basically saying like when you grow up in an African household, like the dynamic is just totally different. Like, it's more discipline. It's just you're held to a higher standard. You don't want to fall short. You don't want to disappoint. I'm not saying that if you're not African, you do. Okay. I'm just saying like, hey, yo.
Some Black Americans, they be on it.
Yeah. No, for sure. But I'm just saying like in the African household, like it's just like, I don't know, dog.
That dynamic is like very powerful, bro. Because you know, it's that function.
You're more humble,
It's that discipline and everything coming together to really build you into that. You know, the world sees us as like these strong Nigerians that we feel like we're better than we don't. It's just how we were raised. You know? We just hold ourselves to a
higher standard. So like
we want the best.
I was gonna say, for me, my upbringing was a little weird because my parents are Americanized. Well, my father more so than my mother. So my mom was like the hard hand. My father was like the her grades is good. She don't get on my nerves. Leave her alone kind of thing. So it's like I had leeway a lot. And I feel like I actually had more freedom than most of my other African friends, but my parents were still technically protective more than my African American friends. So growing up, it was always that imbalance, like, you know, like
you ain't know which way to go.
Yeah, I was just like, even in college, like I did a African student organization pageant, and I put my all into, but I genuinely felt not African enough for the crowd. I was just like, I mean,
like you were too African for the Americans,
yeah,
but too American for the Africans.
Exactly. It was just like I had to find I just had to find a balance. Literally now, so it's like now as an adult, it's just like, oh, Liz, the cool African. It's just like, you know what I mean? But I've learned to grow into that role and like step into my boldness. Essentially, like yes, I am an African woman. Yes, I am a woman who's an entrepreneur. Yes, I am who I am. Yes, I do get a little ratchet sometimes. I like trap music. Like that's okay.
Yeah,
like,
it is. It 100% is okay.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like even every day, more and more, I'm seeing like Nigerians doing more things that are deemed typically outlandish. Like, for example, I seen randomly, like on TikTok, I seen this girl talking about how she's a lesbian and she's gonna have an African wedding with all the traditional stuff, and I'm just like, where now? Man, where is this gonna take? I was like, and she claimed on TikTok, and the girl was like, yeah, I want them to spray the money and this and that, and I'm just like,
money?
Is she African?
I swear she said she's Nigerian, bro. Like
She did her 23andMe.
Bruh. No, she a legit like.
Not, send me that nonsense.
No, for real. But I just say that to say like, as Africans, like we're constantly evolving, but at the same time, it's just like there's new norms every day. Like even the fact that they play Afro beats on the radio, like as a child, my 12-year-old me would never understand that. Never. And that's another thing too, like even like getting acclimated to Afro beats, like accepting it. It was like understanding like why I liked it. Do I like it because it's a trend, or is it because it's becoming more like you know, mutable as a music genre, or what? Or do I genuinely like this? Just those thoughts run through your mind often because essentially you be trying to wake up and feel like, who am I today? Like, is it okay I'm vibing to this? Like, should I blast this out loud? Like, that's just something I definitely dealt with, but I'm more so comfortable with now, obviously, because it's more welcome, but it's not solely because of that. It's just like, it feels good to openly, fully be myself now.
Yeah.
I feel like that goes into where you grew up, though, too.
Yes.
Like,
I grew up on,
okay, boom. We always talk about the size of 495. So, we moved to Bowie when I was like 12 or 13 years old. And just, I guess my dad, he was a professor and the head of the communication department while he was alive at Bowie State University, HBCU.
Period.
So I was raised by
That's
HBCU, man. He went to Howard, he went to Morgan, my dad.
Yeah.
Like my dad, he was that.
Educated.
Like, so that's what I was raised in, but I was African as well. But damn, I gotta be thinking about my daddy. Dang, what was the 495?
495.
So Bowie and Douglas, right?
Yeah, I went to Frederick Douglass, which is in Upper Marlboro, but I actually grew up in Bowie. So it's like, I knew the white side, but then it's like, I also experienced culture shock because it was a surplus of Black Americans. And because of, in Upper Marlboro, there's a lot of government workers. And it's just like, more than I was used to. I was used to like domestic.
That
like,
cultural perspective wasn't as broad on that side.
At all, at all,
in
at
Bowie,
all.
you have more foreigners, especially in the early 2000s.
Man.
So you have more foreigners. So you have like not only Black foreigners, you have Asians, you have Indians.
Right.
So that whole mentality of foreign and culture in a place like Bowie is way more, even still today, it's way more like welcome and open as opposed to down there. So being African growing up in those times, it's like, it was kind of different. I'm the youngest. Well, yeah, she's the youngest too.
I'm the youngest too.
I was raised with my folks with my brother and my sister until like a certain age, but they were already like African, like, you know what I mean? But,
embodied full on African.
but they were still American as hell. Like we were all born here, but like they had no problem. So I grew up not having a problem being African to the point where I went to school. I started my law school when I was 15 in like 2008. People were like, you're African? Like, yeah, I'm African. I'm a girl with locks and I'm a teenager. But like, it was not something that was heard of at that time.
Right.
So I feel like it definitely depends on like where you're growing up and where you grow up at, how you grow up, and the environment that you're in, and how much you grasp it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And apply it. Because sometimes you can see stuff, but you don't even know how to apply it necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes that pipeline from bad African to cool African get smaller and
But
smaller.
I'm glad you brought that up because it's funny. When I was growing up, I was an African booty scratcher.
Okay. And I still remember those who said it.
I was always African.
From African booty scratchers to they can't get enough of us.
Yeah, bro. Now it's like
Now
fast
everybody
forward
wants a
20, 20
Nigerian
years.
man.
Oh my God.
They be like, I want a Nigerian. All of a sudden, they
so
love
crazy to me.
Afrobeats.
Yeah, like you like our music now?
They can't get enough of
They
us.
love the
Y'all like
food.
that? Y'all like the way we dress? Y'all like that too? Like, I just love to see it because I love seeing like the little posts on like Instagram, TikTok of like African people, like even if you're doing a regular post, like people do their little posts like wearing their
African clothes.
African attire.
Back in the day,
Back
in the day, y'all.
bro, like that should look sweet.
It's
Like,
really a great evolution.
I ain't gonna lie. At one point, like when I was younger, I used to. I won't say embarrassed, but that's kind of what they made me feel like.
I still remember turning my mom around. My mom was trying to cheat. You know how you get to go to the doctors, your mom brings you back McDonald's. She like, okay, let me take you back to the. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm cool. Like, you good? Bye. Like, and she was just like, no, I just want to see you all. I'm like,
exactly.
Nah, you
I know
good.
exactly what you mean.
You straight. She's just like, no, but I want to. And I'm just like, Mom, look what you got on. You can't go up there. I don't need anybody looking at you like that.
No,
it's cool
I feel
because I'm a
you,
fight.
yo.
So how about, we just end this here. You know what I mean? And she reported me to my father, and I had to explain to him like it wasn't even like that. I had a rep protect. You know what I'm saying? Like I just can't do that. Can't do that.
Wild on that side of the
But I was still living in Bowie at that time, though. I just was like, no, I get a grade. No, like literally, just stop.
Like, yo, that was a time, dog.
Yeah.
But I love to see the progression of like the African.
For sure, it's
you know what I'm saying?
beautiful.
Like people actually are embracing it now.
Even with their content now, if you notice, like people are more free.
Yeah, I want to try fufu.
Oh, y'all remember that? That was a whole epidemic of TikTok.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, y'all want to try a goosey, and I'm just like, all
But do you
right.
want to try because you genuinely like want to try, or do you want to try because it's a trend?
Right.
Like that's what I was trying to figure
I
out.
be like, exactly.
It's more so the exposure of the culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm happy you're trying.
Exactly.
Remember that video I sent you of that Asian kid?
Crushing African food.
Yes.
He loves African food.
I've seen
I've seen that.
Oh my
I've
God.
No, Asians like to chop though.
But
They like to
food
chop.
is just, I feel like that's their food. Their food is more similar to ours.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more similar to ours than Caribbean food sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Hot oil. I love hot oil. When I go to the bruh.
Out, man.
That's so funny, yo. That's crazy.
That comment section was hilarious.
We gonna make some angels.
They'll say,
Okay.
they called him like Chuku Ling or something. Cutting up that food.
Yo, the comments.
Yeah. I was dying. Yeah. That joke.
I'm crying. But as you can see, being Nigerian is lit.
But okay,
Being
so
African is
outside of y'all entrepreneurship, how do y'all live life? Like, what's up? Like, as far as like it could be with y'all
We know how you feel
personal
about
life, yeah.
Like, nah.
How do y'all spend your personal time? Like, you're dating. What is it like you do outside of entrepreneurship?
That's a great. We like to go out to eat.
Yeah, I love food.
We let it go.
If y'all ever need a restaurant,
I call her. She be knowing.
Area, tell me the cuisine.
She
Tell me what your
knows.
price range is.
Okay.
I got you. You want to impress somebody? Want to buy the water? Let me know.
Oh, say less.
She done put me
I don't
on
have
some
time for
places.
research. So
She done put me onto some places.
Yeah.
I still garden too. I paint. I have a beautiful little doggy. I've had him since he was 7 weeks old.
nice.
Aw.
He's about to be 9.
what kind of dog is it?
It's a miniature pinscher Jack Russell Terrier. His name is Blue.
Nani?
Picture.
I don't even know what that looks like.
I don't know what the hell that is.
Picture's the one with the
Yeah, it looks like a Doberman puppy.
Yeah.
He is perfectly fine.
Oh, my chill.
I remember
He said chill.
I have no idea what the hell that is.
Yeah, I'm a
We have
revert.
cats.
I'm a revert, so that I've had him since before that.
No.
They do.
Yeah.
Who has cats?
For the Africans, I don't think cats are witches.
But you know what?
I think that's an African thing.
I think it
That's
is.
an
Yeah,
African
it's not a
thing.
Muslim thing. It's
Yeah.
an African
My
thing.
whole life, but we found out there's not any like.
No, they're
hadith-
supposed to be outside the house.
Yeah, but there's no
Yeah.
like against it.
It's not against it.
He's just like, no, that's just the African.
Yeah.
thing. Just say that.
It is the African thing.
Yeah, it's like the African thing, because only African Muslims say that.
I know a lot of Middle Eastern people. No dog in the house. They has to stay outside.
But you know what's
You're
crazy?
wrong for it.
My mom was the same
I'm
too.
crying.
She always looked at dogs as like filthy and everything. Like they shouldn't be in the house as pets and everything.
The dog I had was
Yeah.
that way.
25
Like, I
pounds.
can-
Right.
I used to
I
think
love
like
dogs.
that
I don't
too.
care
till
what
I-
nobody say. I
Yeah, I
love
love dogs. Like I used to be
Me,
scared.
it depends on the size of the dog, bro.
You like my dog.
No, I like dogs. Go ahead.
I say it's just for me, it's the size of the dog.
I think dogs are great.
I can't do the big ones.
The big ones.
Really?
Nah, bro.
They be the
Not because
sweetest.
I'm scared of them, but just because they're too much. You're too big, man.
You gotta
and they require too much.
Yeah, you-
What are you talking about? You had Roscoe.
That's what I
And
said.
he was
But how
the-
small
he
was
was-
Roscoe?
and he-
Roscoe was the
Roscoe
size of my
sounds
foot.
terrible.
Roscoe was the size. He was a bad motherfucker.
Bad name.
It sounds like shit go down when Ross goes around. Like,
That's how they was
Come on, dude, I'm on Roscoe. Go. No, for real though.
Oh, it's a big dog.
Nah.
Find out it's a tiny.
just terrorizing everybody.
That bark was big though. Roscoe was the size of my forearm. That was the baddest dog in America.
what kind of dog was
I'm
that?
telling you, bro.
But them small
he was
dogs
a
be having the
Chihuahua
biggest
mixed
heart.
with
Oh, no,
a
Chihuahua.
exact heart of a lion.
They be having
He
the
was a
biggest
Chihuahua
Chihuahuas
mixed
be having
with
the
a
biggest heart.
That's my dog.
Yorkie Chihuahua mix.
Oh, that dog is cool.
That's why it was like that.
Why would you
A
even
Chihuahua
get that?
and a
So
Yorkie.
small, so loving. I got him
A
for my girlfriend.
Chihuahua and
My
a
wife at
Yorkie.
the- Yeah, my girl at the time, but you know, small, loving dog. I took care
You
of
need
them.
one piece of your house.
Man, I learned my I learned my
You got
lesson.
one piece of your house.
Yo, after a year, I sold that dog.
But that's why people have to do their due diligence.
Yeah,
do your
yeah.
research. Because if you did research, you would know this is a wild ass
Dog.
Yep.
breed. Consider to
Yeah.
get
Living in your home.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
I learned my lesson with that dog.
Like no, for real.
But
Dog.
How about you?
to you, Liz.
I was hoping y'all ain't. It's like, no, I'm joking. What do I do in my spare time? Honestly, y'all, I be chilling. Like, I be learning. I really like to go to events. I love a networking event. I love...
Speaking of that, I'm gonna ask you about one when we wrap up.
Got you. I love a networking event because it's like, that's my opportunity. Like, that's when my social battery runs wild. I get to connect with like-minded individuals because we're at the same thing. And I get to meet new people, have new experiences. You never know who's who. And I've just always been like a big believer in your network is your net worth. So I'm just like, y'all gonna know me in this city. I don't care. I grew up here my entire life, but nah, I still need, there's people for me to know. Still.
Yeah.
So that's just been my mindset. Like to go to the bar, you know, get a little drink, you know what I'm saying, wind down. Yeah, I just like to pour into myself, you know, self-care, really. I like to just, you know, watch my little shows, catch up on my shows, and I like to watch docu-series. I love biopics. I love biopics. I think my favorite biopic is between Selena and Ray Charles. Don't ask me why. Or
Those are epic.
Exactly. Ray Charles is a class, like classic go to.
I don't know. I think I really feel like he would have liked my arm. I really feel like he would have knew, like, yeah. But I think because in a lot of those stories, like they grew up young doing what they were doing, and then they worked at it as hard as they could till they couldn't. You know what I mean? And I like biopics because it's like I get to learn from somebody else's story and also learn what not to do or what to do better or to be careful of or watch over, or just something to think about. So. And I love music. I love a vibe. Like sometimes when I need to get some work done, I'll just let that too. I'll cut some music on just so if I need to get some work done and just flow and then just get it done. Like sometimes I just need to sit in silence or just sit with some music on and just that's how I get stuff done.
Yeah, that's crazy because I'm the complete opposite. Like when I want to get work done, like I need complete silence. Even sometimes, like if I'm in my head like a lot, like all them tabs open, and I'm driving, like normal person, music playing or they listening to something.
You
like,
turn it
I
off.
Quiet.
complete-
I'm like that too.
I like that.
I'm like that too.
Yeah, that's
I'm
pretty
like
dope.
I'm
that as
hearing
well.
the wheels hit shit on the road.
You know,
like,
it's therapy though,
silent.
right?
Yeah.
That's a form of therapy.
I think so.
Silence.
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, I really appreciate silence sometimes. Like,
It's golden.
yeah,
Can't get it.
but I just won't take a nap.
You gotta take. I need you to take a nap.
So you know what you should do? You
You
should
gotta check in on
no facts. You know what you should do? You should meditate.
Exactly. He's not gonna listen.
Wait, Dooley, no, you should meditate in the morning and in the evening, and they also have sleep sounds too. Like they have specific like
My
sound
daughter's
bowls.
gonna be knocking me out though. I ain't gonna lie. The little waves.
Do yours.
Slumped.
The black screen on
But that's
YouTube,
at night, though,
brain,
so it don't
brain
count.
sounds.
Literally, and they actually have like little sounds like sleep music or whatever. And
They have it actually built into the iPhones like now,
Yeah,
or like your
they
AirPods and stuff. Like you could just choose to just have wave noise or like
You lying on AirPods?
Yeah, you could just choose ocean noise.
I'm telling you, bro, this iPhone in my pocket.
Yeah.
Well, my iPhone, bro, like there's so much shit on that phone that I know I need to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
the new iOS
I
is
text
lit.
and call. I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying?
Like
so
we
much
always
shit I
say,
do.
you
Like, it
always
has
gonna
so
be
many
learning.
features.
Like
Oh,
even
my
your
God. What am I
even your
ever gonna
background,
learn?
you could customize it and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I learned a lot recently.
Like the same way you want to learn like how to do something. Like for example, like me. Same way I want to learn how to do photography. I feel like that's how I have to treat that goddamn phone. I gotta learn how to use that phone, bro.
Yeah.
Well, you get the most capabilities out of it. Like you see what this. It's like the phone is indicative of ourselves.
Right.
We get to know ourselves thoroughly. We're going to be able to be the most effective and the most efficient for ourselves. And
Absolutely.
So, again, that's another thing that can translate. Another thing that translates. Being entrepreneurs your whole life. That's
Yeah.
it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. I wanted to ask y'all something. You mentioned something earlier about how like you like kind of like build relationships with other women, and I want to ask like, so, and like you said, you compliment them, like you're very like friendly and stuff like that. How do you like, for example, y'all two? How did y'all, I don't know, I guess come to the agreement to go on for the first drink together or some shit like that? Like, did you ask her like? Was it like something? How did that go?
I had to be very much myself. And be like, girl,
Okay.
leave me alone with all the nonsense. What's up? What you need? What you talking about? What are you here for? What do you want from me?
Yeah.
What do I want from you?
I don't know. I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No, cause honestly, like I just remember being her client, and then like, cause literally going to her appointments, that was my
Okay, so you were
self-care.
her client.
Yeah, like that's how we built our
Okay.
friendship.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I used to be like, what's she? Well, she always want to talk to me instead of get her hair done, right? What she want to talk about?
No, but she didn't understand like coming to my appointment. That was my self-care. I know how to do my hair myself. I know how to style my hair myself. But it's like she didn't understand that talk. I needed that talk every 4 to 6
She
weeks.
helped me realize
4 to 6
how
weeks.
I am
I
a
need
friend.
that. Yeah. And it's just like she didn't realize she was showing that for me. And I genuinely don't remember like how, but
We just started hanging out.
Yeah, like I don't
So
know.
y'all was
like,
having barbershop talk.
pretty much.
Basically.
That's basically That's literally how it is.
People and
what's
like
up.
that's
I'm
what
her
we do.
favorite.
That's literally like the basis of my salon. Like she's met clients and friends at my salon.
Right.
Like, it's literally just talking.
camera.
Yeah.
Let that one die.
Yeah, we
But-
let that one.
But no, I feel like we were always like shooting the breeze. We was always like having really good conversations, and then my dad passed
Politicking.
away. But yeah, her and her cousin Blessing, they were together. I think y'all were together whenever Blessing was coming over to drive. I don't know if y'all planned to, but anyways, they
No,
both came
yes,
over.
we came to
they
console
came
her around the time her father passed.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, yes, that's exactly what happened.
That is
is
like
exactly
I had already
what
been
happened.
doing her hair, and
Yeah.
then I was just like, dang, like she was there, and I was a drunken mess. I'm not gonna lie, but like even seeing us going our relationship how we did from then, and her just sticking by me and understanding, because as y'all see, I'm a very straight to the point, like I said, cut and dry person. Understanding that is how I've had to become because of my years of doing what I do, and then realizing like that I'm not like a type A monster for real. I'm really not. I just get really wound up, and I did need somebody like Liz to come in and be like, you need a network. It's okay. You just need people around.
I think
Right.
I
Not
just let
leave
her
me
be
alone.
her.
Yeah.
I let her be her.
Yeah.
Like I feel like one time, like I don't know. I think you was like zapping out about something, and you was just like, Liz, thank you for that. Like just thank you for understanding I was not zapping towards you. I said, why would I do that? Like for what reason? Because it's like you're not mad at me. I would be insane to now get mad on top of your bullshit,
Right.
or whatever shit that you were going through at that time.
But then
you know what I mean?
learning that I let stuff, like I get my issue off and I go.
I love that about her.
Yeah. I
'Cause,
be like, I'm stressed out. what you making for dinner? literally, that's
Because that's real life. You have to move and push past stuff. Like, I feel like the reason why I have no problem showing up for her because she is straightforward with me. Because she do let me know that she communicates.
You need a friend like that.
You
know?
do.
I can't stress that enough.
You do.
Man. You need somebody like that.
You do.
That's gonna be cut and dry, straight to the point, no sugarcoating. Like, say what the fuck it is and leave it like
to
that.
cuss them out. People will call you to cuss them out.
Yeah, like.
That is so true.
Maybe on the phone, like, don't be mad. You already know I'm about to be mad.
Hi, Sadia. You know I love you, right?
How's your day going? Like,
Yeah.
I already know the
Yeah, that's.
You was like, girl, what? Speak English. Like, that's my favorite thing she said to me. She was like, no, what?
Like, what do you
What
want?
do you
Like,
want?
what are
Thank
calling
you.
me for?
No,
Yes.
I'm like, no,
Yeah.
stop it. What do you want?
Yes. And I'd be like, yes, so this is what I really need. And then I get to, like, and that's another thing that helps me because I do drag on sometimes instead of cutting to the chase. And people be like, oh, yeah. And then we get lost in our talk. But it's like she's helped me to be more concrete.
Don't second guess yourself.
Exactly. And be more straightforward and also position myself when I'm speaking so that way I leverage at the end of the day.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
I
Oh,
live-
here, give me. Oh, yeah. I love that. Goodness.
yeah.
You're so
Yeah, no,
You don't
that's
think you're
what's up. I like that. I like that.
I be listening.
I have one last question for y'all. What is one piece of advice from y'all journey? Or like it could be about entrepreneurship, it could just be about being a young black woman that you could leave for somebody that whether they look up to you or trying to follow in your footsteps.
You first.
Never be afraid of your rebrand. You always need to evolve, but remember that a core stays the same. Your core is you. But yeah.
But if you ever need a brand new strategy,
Baby.
reach out to your girl, Liz Lindsay. Okay? All right. So
I like that.
for me, what I would tell someone who looks up to me is be determined, be strong in your faith, and be who you are online, offline. Be authentic. Be real. Do what you say you're gonna do. That's it. That's all. And be great. That's it.
Like that.
That's it.
And drag your nuts on everybody.
Okay? Do your big one. Because when you get to where you want to be, do your big one.
And then do your super big one.
And then do it 10 times over.
And then go back
And do it 2
another
times
big
again.
one. That's life. That's a cycle.
Hey, man.
And do,
Y'all
I'm sorry,
already
one more
here.
thing. Understand it's a cycle. Don't ever think like, life is not linear. You're gonna go through stuff. You're gonna close that cycle. You're gonna open up another.
Right,
Close your
man.
rings. Close your rings on your Apple Watch. Close your lives. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Finish that up.
Also, another piece of advice to like those who be going through things, it seems like you're going through stuff all the time. Like go, like seek out your faith. Like it's okay to give stuff to God. Not only that, also understand when there's good, the bad is naturally gonna come to follow. So ask God when you get those things that you pray for. Thank God for those things. And then and then also like even moving forward, like when there's good going on, pray.
Grateful.
When it's bad going on, pray.
Pray, right.
Be grateful. Straight like that.
You always gotta be grateful.
On top of that, people
That's
don't
the word, yeah.
realize that when you praying for stuff, like let's say you praying to get to a certain point in your life, where you are right now is what you prayed for. Like it could have been like a year ago, a month ago.
Right. Yeah.
So
That's
it's,
a good
it's
point.
really,
That's
it's really
good.
important that you appreciate
Where you're
first
at,
where
yeah.
you're at
Yeah.
and everything, because you know how's God gonna bless you with more if you're not even
If you
already
can't, I just said
appreciating
that
of
to
what
some
you
on the
got right
phone.
now.
I said
Yeah.
that on the phone before I got here. Oh my God.
Love it. Love the episode. I really appreciate y'all coming through. It
Thank
means a
you for
lot to
having us.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
We
It's been a
like
pleasure
y'all.
to have y'all on the Mad Ghost podcast.
Yeah.
And you know, duly checking out.
Bye y'all. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, download the episode. Thank you.
Like she
share. Share with your friends.
And don't be pussy. Please.
You heard
PSA.
Stay mad.
PSA.